works.
Thank you. Alfred Sant.
Thank you. In recent years, not only has the objective to close the economic gap between North and Southern countries failed, but this gap is widening. So in northern countries, we observe budgetary surpluses, a strong welfare state, and almost zero unemployment and poverty. While in southern countries, we observe strong government deficits and debt, very high unemployment rates, the retreat of the welfare state, and decreasing rates of poverty. Divergences can also be observed between Eurozone and non-Eurozone member states, where Eurozone countries are also bound by the limits of the monetary union. The European Commission acknowledged this problem also in the 2017 Annual Growth Survey and took an important step forward. They said that member states which are overachieving their fiscal objectives should use their fiscal space to support domestic demand and quality investments, including cross-border ones. The member states are now responsible to take appropriate action in this direction, as you say. However, as President of the Eurogroup, and in view of the upcoming Eurogroup meeting you will be chairing in December, how likely is the possibility that Euro area member states will follow this indication from the Commission? Are member states in the position to implement a real expansionary investment policy, keeping the current framework of rules in mind, even though OECD has just recently, yesterday, recommended a fiscal policy boost to growth and investment? And as President of the Eurogroup, do you feel yourself accountable for the lack of implementation of recommendations addressed to the euro area in view of the increasing divergence between economies of North and South?
Well, you're very right that over the course of the crisis, the process of convergence has become a process of divergence. And that is a threat to our community, a threat to our monetary union. It needs to be reversed. But I think if you look carefully at growth rates throughout the Eurozone at the moment, you'll see that the process is already being turned around. Growth rates in some of the previous program countries is now at the highest level. In Ireland, in Spain, in Cyprus, economic recovery is ongoing at high growth rates, higher than in the core countries. Does it require further steps in terms of reforms, following up the country-specific recommendations? Absolutely. Is that the key challenge now for national politicians? Yes, because they're being challenged. All of us are being challenged at home. Where are the results? And why are you not more effective? What are you doing? What are you doing to provide new opportunities to people now that we're moving out of the crisis? So this is a difficult phase because people expect results and we have been slow coming out of the crisis. But the return of the convergence process is actually beginning to show, because there are interesting differences in growth rates and economic dynamics throughout the Eurozone. By the way, I do feel that core countries should also be able to achieve higher growth rates, because 1% in some of the larger economies in the Eurozone is simply not good enough.